By PNC Bank for the achiever in you, and by Land Rover above and beyond. Beautiful night at the ballpark, and ladies and gentlemen, make no mistake, you are looking at a war hero. That is John McCain here with us at the ballpark tonight. So we waited out some radar stuff. Not a drop fell. Sun stayed out most of the time. Humidity 46%, 91 at game time. And hopefully all is well for the rest of the night. The Diamondbacks, third in the league in hitting, third in runs scored. And David Peralta's right in the middle of everything. He's 10 for his last 23. And he is really hitting the ball well, giving them some power as well. 10 homers, 50 RBIs, protecting Goldschmidt, who hits in front of him. And then they've got A.J. Pollock, who's doing a great job behind Inciarte. These top four hitters are doing some serious damage. And let's see what they can do with the Nats ace tonight.
Well, fastball's averaging 94 on the season. And last time out against the Marlins, 7 shutout innings, allowed just 3 hits. Struck out 6 Marlins. Nats won that game 1-0. Get this. The Marlins did not hit one ball well against Max Scherzer last time out. And the most incredible stat I've seen about Max this season, he's walked 5 of the 281 right-handed batters he's faced this season. Just 5 right-handed hitters. Set the defense for the Nats tonight behind Max Scherzer. Worth, Taylor, Harper the outfield. Desmond, Escobar left side. Rendon, Zimmerman right side. Wilson, Ramos behind the plate.
Yeah, good to see Jason back out there. Home plate umpire, 17-year veteran Mark Carlson. The crew chief at third base, Brian Gorman, is umpiring his 3,000th major league game tonight. Congratulations to Brian. Tripp Gibson at second, Gabe Morales at first.
Take it easy on him tonight and let him have it tomorrow.
7:35 in D.C. Max Scherzer right on time, and he misses outside. So an exactly 30-minute delay. Storm kind of split. Part of it went to the north, and the rest of it missed Nationals Park. Great news. On a bunt, that's a base hit. Laid down beautifully by Inciarte, who's now 7 for 17 against the Nats this year.
Well, that's just what I'm talking about. Placement is everything. Watch him square around a little bit early and just deaden it right on the money. Nothing you could do about that one except for put it in your pocket. Nicely done.
That'll bring in A.J. Pollock. 4th in the league in hits, 2nd in runs. 10th in the league at 305. And I would think that at least this year, and Pollock's a good ball player, make no mistake about it. Hitting in front of Paul Goldschmidt has to be a nice place to be in that Arizona lineup. He's 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts against Max Scherzer, who in his career has pitched against the D-backs twice. He's 2-0 with a 1.29. Escobar even with a bag at third. Everybody at double play depth. Big breaking ball, and Pollock missing that by a big margin.
Last 2 months, right-handed hitters hitting 138 against Max Scherzer. 16 for their last 116. That's the first in the big leagues, and a big reason is that slider you just saw on the first pitch to A.J. Pollock. 16 for their last 116 right-handers against Scherzer.
Goes with the heater, and 94 misses away. So there's the split. The righty is only 167. Ironically, they've given up more. They've hit more home runs than the lefties have. A lot more right-handed at bats. 1 ball, 1 strike. In the air, center. And toward the gap just a bit. Taylor onto the track by a step, and he takes it for a long first out. Early notes for you. Nats have won, even with last night's loss, 16 of the last 22 against the D-backs. Max Scherzer, 11 starts, going 6 or more innings, 1 run or fewer allowed. By the way, he's gone 6 innings or more, 20 of his 21 starts. And the Diamondbacks, 4 homers. They hadn't hit a lot of home runs this year, and the Nats don't give up that many as a rule. So last night's game, really different in a lot of aspects, and Chip Hale's team was blasting away.
He looked like he needed a Tums right there, didn't he?
He really wanted A.J. Pollock to get a hit, evidently. Paul Goldschmidt, and this is unusual, has failed to reach base in his last 3 games. It's been about 3 years since that happened to him. Nats held him to an 0 for 4 last night. Scherzer's got it going on, 88 inside the numbers with STG. So the batting average guys trying to win that batting title. D. Gordon's back in it now at 329, right behind Bryce. Haven't heard much about Gerardo Parra of the Brewers, and of course Buster Posey, one of the best hitters in baseball. Parra, of course, traded with Baltimore now, part of their offense. 0-2.
Paul Goldschmidt got the 96 right out of bed. Max Scherzer not even waiting to runners in scoring position with one of the best hitters in the National League. Goes with the reach back fastball at 96, just missing on the outside corner.
And by the way, there is precedent for winning a batting title when you've been traded to the other league. This might have been too early in the season for that to happen. We'll have to wait and see, but there was one year Willie McGee got traded from St. Louis to Oakland, and he still won the National League batting crown. Paul Goldschmidt, 3rd in runs, tied for 1st in hits with D. Gordon, 126. In Miami tonight, it's Jonathan Neese and Brad Hand. And the Mets and Marlins are scoreless, top of the 2nd. Matt Williams Ball Club, a game behind New York. 6-11 since the All-Star break are the Nats. But they're still 9-5 against the West, with a whole bunch of Western Division clubs. Everybody but San Diego over the next 2 weeks. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Swing and a miss. 87 down and away from Goldschmidt. 2 outs.
Yeah, good slider right there from Scherzer. We're going to show you the sequence. Max Scherzer versus Paul Goldschmidt. The matchup everybody wanted to see tonight. He went challenge fastball for strike 1. Slider for strike 2. Just missed with the 96. Slider kind of backed up a little bit right there. And then he got the good break on strike 3. On top, out front, look at that thing spinning up there in the late movement. The Goldschmidt just couldn't stay with. Nice pitch.
Next up, David Peralta had a big night here last night. The big blow of the game, a 2-run shot that made it 3-0. 0 for 3 against Scherzer, and 0 for 4 if Worth takes care of this. JAYSON does, and after the leadoff bunt hit, Scherzer really went to work. Now it's the Nats against Patrick Corbin.
for serving our great country and keeping us safe here at home.
Well said, Ryan. Stars and stripes on display tonight here at Nationals Park. The Nats are coming up in the bottom of the first, 13-8 this year against left-handed starters. Batting average for the team down to 248, 12th in the league. Yunel Escobar, 312. He is 7th in the league in hitting. He's always hit Diamondbacks pitching well. He also has an on-base percentage of just under 360, but he's never faced Patrick Corbin. Most of the lineup tonight has.
A 6th start for Corbin post Tommy John surgery, so he's on a pitch count of 90, a hard pitch count of 90. If he starts a hitter at 87, 88 pitches, his manager, Chip Hale, let him go and finish that hitter. So if fastball's a power fastball, 94 on average, he can get up there, upper 90s if he wants to. And this is a frontline starter, folks.
Yeah.
He's not allowed a first-inning run in 7 games dating back to 2013, pre-Tommy John. Chris Young has the longest streak at 16.
In there for a strike to Escobar. His most pitches this year, 89. 7 innings 2 starts ago against Milwaukee. So, as mentioned, Escobar season for the first time. Even with a bag at third, Jake Lamb. Escobar sees the breaking ball, lays off, 1 ball, 1 strike. Added to that with a base hit last night. He was 1 for 5. He corks that one. Long way to center. Pollock going back. See you later. To the right of the batter's eye. And Escobar's 7th puts the Nats on top.
There's a first-inning run.
Wow.
Let's go Nats. There goes the no-hitter. There goes the shutout. And there goes Yunel Escobar across home plate with his 7th home run of the season. That ball was struck. A long home run to start this game up for the Nats. For 24-6 when they score in the first inning.
Washington's 104th home run. And for Escobar, the 76th of his big league career. Here's Anthony Rendon. Nationals lead off the ball game for the 6th time this year with a home run. Escobar a couple. Michael A. Taylor's done it. Span's done it. And Rendon makes it 2 in a row with a base hit up the middle.
There goes the one-hitter.
Anthony now 9 for 33 since coming back, and he's hit safely 6 out of 10 games.
Let's show you the home run again. Fastball right down the middle, maybe a little bit on the outer half. Yunel Escobar, good low ball hitter, goes down and digs it out and hits it out to the deepest part of Nats Park, straightaway center into the dumpsters. Check it out. Boom. Warm night, ball carrying. Ball right in the garbage can.
The racing presidents can pick that up in a couple of innings when they come out.
Like he's doing his own rainbow, I think.
There's Bryce.
No rain tonight.
So this is a fascinating matchup. As we mentioned during the pregame segment, Bryce 10th in the league, 320 against left-handed pitchers this year. There are some left-handed hitters in the top 10. D. Gordon 359, Anthony Rizzo 330, Harper 320. Guys who can hit anybody.
Bryce hit on the field today for the first time in forever. Just felt like it. And I'm all for him hitting on the field because he was hitting home runs over the Jackie Robinson sign in the upper deck in right field. I mean, hitting him to park to this park you just don't see every day. He put on some kind of display today before the ball game. Unbelievable.
I'm happy for our fans. They haven't gotten to see that in quite some time.
It was something to see, I'll tell you.
1-1 pitch. Another breaking ball. Corbin misses away 2-1. Bryce has hit safely 11 of his last 12 games.
I think it's good to hit on the field every once in a while. Get to feel how the ball is carrying on a given night. If you're on the road, get used to the backdrop you're going to be seeing the ball out of. There's a lot of benefits to it every once in a while, even though you have a routine in the cage.
A lot of sizzle on that 93 up in the zone. Inside the numbers with STG. So the Nats have won 24 out of 30 when they score not only first, but in the first inning, and then 38 and 15 when it happens anytime. Good numbers. Bryce turns on one that was off the plate inside.
So the defense for the Diamondbacks tonight: Peralta, Pollock, Inciarte the outfield, Ahmed Lamb left side, Owings, Goldschmidt right side, and Jared Saltalamacchia behind the plate.
Three big leaguers have 30 home runs. Bryce hopes to be next. Off-speed pitch, he got out there to pull it. Mike Trout 32, Albert Pujols and Nelson Cruz 30 each.
And that a dude brought his picker, got a ball. Sweet.
Looks like a ball player.
They all look like they're ready. I like it.
2-2, target away. Bryce really hanging tough, having a good at bat.
Yeah, he's getting closer on the fastball. That might buy him a curveball right here. We'll see. That was a good hack.
Homer single. Had a bunch of pitches for Corbin already, a dozen. Base hit, right field line. Rendon to third with no problem. Harper going for two. High throw, he's safe. He just challenged the best arm the Diamondbacks have out there. Inciarte airmailed it. Bryce Harper a double, his 55th extra base hit.
Such a good hitter. He knew he was getting close to the fastball. What does he get? He gets the curveball, but he's on it. Maybe a slider, but either way, an off-speed pitch. Good read by Rendon, and Bryce Harper playing the game the right way. Watch Inciarte double clutch. That was a difference. He had to rush his throw, threw it high. Maybe a little shocked that Harper went. Watch the double clutch. He peeked. You see the ball was not really in his glove because he had the peek, because Bryce Harper was busting it around first base. So a hustle double for Bryce Harper, and that's in business here in the bottom of the first. Second and third, nobody out.
Early in the ball game, Diamondbacks not playing the infield in. Ryan Zimmerman, the hitter. He's 2 for 9 career against Corbin with a run batted in. Fastball high and tight. With that base hit, Bryce now 3 for 7 against this really good left-hander.
Chip Hale keeping his infield back with nobody out.
Zimmerman a base hit to left. Rendon scores. Harper stopped by Bob Henley. And the line is moving big time to start this game. 2-0 Nats on 4 straight hits.
Kind of pick it up right where they left off last night in that 9th inning, where they put 4 runs on the board in a heartbeat after getting shut out for 8 innings. So let's just call it the 10th inning. Coming out hacking. Ryan Zimmerman's been locked since coming off the disabled list. Nice swing right there, and like you said, line moving.
Yeah, and you know, streaks don't mean a whole lot when they go from one game to another. But just for the fun of it, 9 of the last 11 Nats have hits going back to the 9th inning last night. So 15 pitches, 4 hits, 2 runs, 8 total bases. Next up is Jason Worth. That was Ryan Zimmerman's 7th hit since coming off the DL.
Corbin has to be thinking, I'm going up against Max Scherzer. I can't allow too many more runs.
Worth is 2 for 5 against him, with a home run and 3 RBIs. This is where you want to keep it going. The Nats had 2 early runs at New York in one of the ball games. Couldn't keep it going. It eventually cost them. They've got a big time chance for a huge first inning here. That's a breaking ball cued to the right side. Jason's going to have to hurry to get back. He does. A run scores. 3-0, a productive out for Jayson Werth.
Great read by Bryce Harper at third base. He watched Paul Goldschmidt, and as soon as Goldschmidt turned to start the double play with nobody out, Bryce Harper broke for home. And that's a read by Harper at third. If Goldschmidt came up looking at Bryce Harper, I don't think you had a chance. Watch Harper at the top of your screen. He's not going. Goldschmidt throws it to second, and Bryce breaks for home. So an RBI for Jayson Werth on the smart, aggressive, heady base running by Bryce Harper, and Jayson Werth hustling, diving into first base. Nats are coming to play tonight, folks. They're playing hard here in the first.
Yeah, and Harper's second great base running play of the inning. So here's Ian Desmond, still just 1 out. He's 1 for 4 career, with a home run and 2 batted in against Patrick Corbin. Corbin gave up 8 hits in his first start. Understandable, coming back from a 1.5 years off. But in his next 4 starts, he never gave up more than 4 hits. 4-4-3, actually 4-4-4 and then 3 against the Mets, Giants, Brewers, and Mariners. Nasty breaking ball down and in. So last night, 5 of the last 7 guys got hits, scoring 4 runs. Then they just pick it right up tonight. You just never know how things are going to work out, but it's a good start.
It's going to take a minute for this offense to click, like we said in the rain delay theater, that hey, it's going to take about 75 at-bats when you're on the DL and you're trying to catch up to the rest of the league. It's not a video game, and I said that when these guys were hurt. You get excited when they come back for the name on the back of the jersey, but it takes a minute to get your timing, your swing, and the feel of the lineup together almost as a whole before you start to get the rhythm and you click. It's going to take a minute, no matter who you're facing.
Fastball up to Ian Desmond. .22 pitches. He's gotten 1 out. And Desmond late for 93, down and away. Strikes out for the 123rd time, 2 outs. That'll bring in Wilson Ramos.
Matt Williams going Dusty Baker on us. What has he got going there? He is. He's got a sweatband on his left wrist. Somebody get him a toothpick. Played for Dusty in San Francisco. I think in 1993, Dusty's first year as a manager.
And a strike to Wilson Ramos, who had one of those 9th inning hits last night, an RBI single that made the game 6-2 before Michael A. Taylor drove in 2 to really make things interesting. Well, he really turned on a breaking ball. Look out, folks. It hits a seat and then caroms out onto the field. Scherzer expecting to hit, huh?
No, he's ready. Look at that. I mean, that's his linebacker game face.
0-2 to Ramos now. That time he sees the breaking ball and hops back from it.
locked in. That looks like you, Bob, right before we go on every night. Same face.
That's what being an ace all about. Ramos 0 for 2 career against Corbin. A lot of room in left center. A lot of room right side of the infield. Hops back from ball 3. That'll make it at least a 30-pitch inning. Mercedes-Benz will give you the entire AB here.
They're pounding him in, I'm calling, said Captain Obvious, the color analyst.
Runner on the move, and Ramos will take that 30th pitch and foul it off.
When Wilson Ramos is right, he likes the ball close to him. He hits it hard the other way.
BC up PDK. What a first inning for the Nats. Target in. Ramos takes the walk and keeps things moving. That'll get it down to Michael A. Taylor.
WR with the BB on the 8th pitch of the at-bat. Oh, fastball down in, just missing.
Okay.
Chip Hale wants to know where that is, or was, or might be in the future.
Michael A. Taylor drove in 2 last night. You might remember when he came up in the 5th inning, I said this young man needed a hit in the worst way. Coming off an 0 for 10 with 9 punch-outs at New York. Fly ball first time last night. He singled in that 5th inning. Then he got the 2-run double in the 9th. Maybe he can feed off the rest of the lineup now. That's a good take. Saw that ball well. Josh Colmenter, who has been a starter in his career, is up and working in the Arizona bullpen. .78 pulled the string on him for a strike. Still really good with runners in scoring position. That number was up around 400 going into the New York series. So Michael just needs to shake that one off and start over. He did it last night. 94, unhittable. 1-2. Taylor, left side. Everybody's going to be safe, and Max Scherzer will bat in the first inning. Taylor now 3 for 5 in the series. Nothing Nick Ahmed could do.
Heck of a play by Nick Ahmed right there to save a run. He showed some serious range going to his right and keeping this ball in the infield and keeping Jason Worth from scoring. Great play by the Diamondbacks shortstop. And he looked like he wanted to throw it to Jake Lamb at third, but Lamb wasn't on the base. I don't know if they would have got Jason Worth, but it would have been interesting. See him, he's looking to third, nobody at the base. That was his only play. And Jake Lamb has to go to third base right there and be there for Nick Ahmed. He might have had an out.
Max Scherzer 9 hits this year, but he hasn't driven in a run. He'd like to take care of that business right here.
I know what Lamb was thinking. The ball gets through. I'm the cutoff man to home. So he was caught in no man's land right there. Ahmed got to it. He couldn't get to the base.
Scherzer goes up swinging over to the right side for Paul Goldschmidt to the pitcher, inning over. The Nats pick up 3 runs on 5 hits. And Escobar got the whole thing started with a leadoff home run. This is just my opinion, but I think we should start at 7:35 every night.
All right. As we go to the top of the second, Monument looking sweet in the background. Cranes not so much. Come on and cheer the Nats tomorrow. I'm not going to know what to do after tomorrow because I mean it's over. You got to come get your Chia Pet. First 20,000 fans, you get to smear seeds all over Jason Worth's Chia Pet face. It's going to be awesome. So be here early. Visit nationals.com to purchase your tickets today. You'd think this place is going to be rocking tomorrow night with one of the better giveaways we've had. You got that or the Gnome? I don't know. This could be just as good as the Gnome. We'll see if it brings the Nats some luck. That's where you're going to find out how good that Chia Pet thing is, right?
Yes, sir. So Escobar twice, Span twice, Taylor twice, leadoff homers this year. Highest strikeout to walk ratio in a single season since the turn of the last century. And Max Scherzer's up there, and all of this happening pretty recently. We would have gotten some good odds on that list if you'd guessed Phil Hughes. Here's Jake Lamb. And Scherzer, after a long layoff, bolts a fastball in there. Lamb, 2 for 4 last night. He had the late homer in the 9th inning off Jonathan Papelbon. At the time, Marlins led 6-0. Pardon me. Diamondbacks. Marlins on my mind. They're batting in the bottom of the 3rd and scoreless with the Mets. Oh, 2 pitch now to Lamb, hitting .284. Max first inning, 11 pitches, 8 strikes. That's a fair ball. Scooting down to Ryan Zimmerman. He's got it for the first out. 4 in a row now. Moment in history brought to you by the Acura It's That Kind of Summer event. So a couple of notable things. In 1985, Tom Seaver, 17th in big league history to win number 300. He of the great leg drive, the drop and drive guy. And then Rod Carew, it was probably a line drive to left, his 3,000th career hit. So Seaver the 17th with 300 and Carew the 16th with 3,000. Here's Saltalamacchia.
It's also the anniversary of Robin Ventura using his face as a punching bag on Nolan Ryan's knuckles.
Maybe the most ill-timed charge of the mound in big league history. I think there's a list for the most one-sided brawls, and that's right at the top of that litany of events. This ball will go twisting back to Jason Worth. Out in left center. Outs coming quickly for Max Scherzer. 5 in a row. Speaking of 5, next 5 ball games. Tomorrow night and Thursday afternoon. Gio tomorrow against Ruby De La Rosa. Joe Ross and Jeremy Hellickson on Thursday, and then the Rockies are in for 3. So you're looking at the rest of the homestand right here before the Nats go to L.A., San Francisco, and Colorado.
Who'd be the last guy in charge in today's game?
Who would be?
Yeah.
Oh, I know. Does this have to be a starter or a reliever?
I'm thinking starter.
Okay. Well, I was thinking of Dylan Betances in New York. Not going to charge him.
He's big. That doesn't mean he's tough. I think Madison Bumgarner's the last guy I'd charge. He has that Nolan Ryan to him. And he's huge. I wouldn't charge him either. This fella right here.
Jose Tabata thought about it. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Chris Owings, 7 for 14 against the Nats this year, and he wasn't in the lineup last night. Blocking that one, Wilson Ramos, 2 balls, 2 strikes. I'm pretty sure that if anybody charged Kershaw or Scherzer, they'd swing and miss. 2 leading strikeout guys in the league. Max started the night with 172. Kershaw a ridiculous 192.
Just trying to think of, like, you know, tough dudes like Nolan Ryan. Not necessarily big guys, just guys you'd think twice about it. I'll just go to first. Thanks for hitting me. I'll tweet at you later. It's sad that I have to think this hard and this long.
2-2. Fastball inside at 97. Chris Owings gone. Escobar gets to lead off another inning. He went yard moments ago. To do up for the Nats, bottom of the second. Escobar, one of his 5 hit games against the Diamondbacks this year. Anthony Rendon starting to warm things up, and Bryce Harper continues to get base hits against left-handers, a double already tonight. Escobar's other leadoff homer game against Cole Hamels on April 16th. Michael A. Taylor did it in April and in July. And Denard Span did it a couple of times in the month of May. Boy, he's gashing the ball tonight. Same line almost as the homer. And Escobar 2 for 2, and I mean hitting the ball hard.
After hitting a home run to straightaway center, doesn't try to do too much, gets a low fastball, and you see Corbin flinch. Watch the pitcher. Look out. Low line drive up the middle, and the Lions move it again here in the second.
The Nats are 6 for 9 with a walk so far. Last time they scored 3 first-inning runs exactly a month ago, 4th of July against Madison Bumgarner. Rendon followed up the Escobar home run with a base hit right up the middle. So he's 9 for 33 since coming back. Batting average up at 284.
I don't think you'd charge Jordan Zimmerman. You know what'd be funny is if we sat up here and said who we would charge. That would get some attention. Oh yeah, I'd definitely charge him. He's soft. I want to go get that guy.
You're on your own on that one, big boy. Good take by Anthony just off the plate, 1-1.
And Matt Williams, by the way, has never taken that wristband off again. If the Nats go on to win this ball game and they scored 3 in the first and maybe add on some runs, look for the left wristband the rest of the season.
You know, Corbin's a guy who goes right at hitters. And if he doesn't have his best stuff at times, this can happen. Only Henderson Alvarez, among active pitchers, throws fewer pitches per batter face than this guy. 3.56. Kind of in that Tim Hudson mold. 2-1 pitch. And Rendon got his bat slowed down by an off-speed delivery. Over by the dugout and into the dugout. Appeared to glance off the glove of Goldschmidt.
I don't think Saltalamacchia saw it. You see him put his hands out to the side. It's that time of night. It's twilight. He didn't see it. He might have had the best chance of it. You see Goldschmidt coming in. Watch Saltalamacchia run over, and then at the very last second go, I don't know where it is. I don't know. And then he saw it. It was too late. And he wasn't even near where it was going to land. And he talked to Goldschmidt after and said, "Could you see it?" Matt Williams almost wore that one. Did you see in the back?
Yeah. You're not going to get any help catching the ball, but sometimes they'll help you from going down the steps after the play's over. And Rick Shue was there showing some sportsmanship. Two and two to Rendon. Corbin had to throw 36 pitches in the first inning. He's having to work here again. It's 8 more pitches without retiring a batter.
Good take.
Wow. Breaking ball that looked like a strike for a moment. Runner going. Rendon just foul. Ball was probably over the bag. He hit it so hard it had some hook on it. And Brian Gorman close to the ball, calling it foul.
How quick is he on this inside pitch? Foot down early. Just foul.
Big gap left center for Rendon. Escobar was moving on the previous pitch. He's going again, and Rendon crushes that ball to center right at A.J. Pollock.
We're getting some serious hacks in. The guy these left. You sure there's any of these left? You can stop by any Cox Solution store and find out if there's a Bob Carpenter t-shirt. It's free. Visit Cox.com for your nearest store. You don't need to be a Cox customer, but they do need to have t-shirts. It says available while supplies last. I don't know. Those are tough to get. I heard they're selling on eBay for $78 a piece.
Oh, sure that's not 78 cents?
Oh, that's serious.
Harper pulled it right beyond the glove of Goldschmidt for a hustle double, first time up, and a fastball outside. And Bryce will pop it up to the right side. And the ball hooking its way out of play over there beyond the dugout.
That went right into beer, I believe. It's a three-pointer.
Well, Bryce had a base hit last night, double tonight, looking for home run number 30. He and Goldschmidt, the subject of a lot of hitter conversation in this series. The Nats have Goldschmidt 0 for 5 so far. Harper 2 for 5.
Denard Span comes back, that RBI total will shoot up immediately.
They are really seeing Corbin's breaking ball tonight. Typical of Bryce, though, against a left-handed pitcher. Against the Arizona southpaw, 3 for 7 with an RBI. Pitch inside, diving in on him. Three 3-0 Nats have out hit the Diamondbacks 6-1. Harper, a foul tip, and it pops out of Saltalamacchia's mitt. D. Gordon, he just got his 127th hit of the year. Drove in Adeiny Echeverria. Marlins won. Mets batting nothing. 1-0 top of the 4th inning down in Miami.
Don't let Bryce hear you giving updates. He said he doesn't care about the Mets last night after the game.
You're paraphrasing, of course.
I like what he said. He said we got to worry about ourselves. And that pitch very close right there, 2 strikes.
Three-2. Wow. Taking borderline pitches, and Bryce Harper walking for the 75th time. 2 on, 1 out.
It's time for you to tweet your strongest fan photo using hashtag NatsCouchCam, and you just might see yourself on TV. The TV you're looking at right now, that's brought to you by T-Mobile.
Josh Colementor up again, and this is Chip Hale going to the mound. And Patrick Corbin, does he stay? Conversation going on.
He just wants to know that he's okay. I mean, coming off of Tommy John surgery, how you feeling? This is their prized possession, their ace that they're going to build a staff around moving forward. So Chip Hale wants to know, and it looks like he got an honest answer from his left-hander.
2 walks, 1 strikeout, and the Nats have 6 hits already. This call to the bullpen packaged by the UPS Store. Your one-stop shop for all your small business needs. Let us handle your mailbox service needs. We love logistics.
Appreciated. We know you miss your families. Those of you that are abroad, come home soon safely. And once again, for the Coast Guard, protect.
This Masson telecast celebrating the birthday of the United States Coast Guard, being brought to you by DynCorp International. We serve today for a better tomorrow. And by Navy Federal Credit Union, proudly serving the armed forces and their families for over 80 years. The Coast Guard, one of America's 5 armed forces, tracing its roots to August 4th, 1790. We'd like to thank all of our armed forces for their dedication to protecting the safety and security of America. Last time Josh Collmenter faced the Nats, it went very badly for him.
Yeah, fastball average at 85, curveball 70, changeup 76. Weird delivery, throws right over the top. And Carp, what were the numbers? It didn't last very long last time he started against the Nats in Arizona.
Inning and a third, 8 hits, 9 runs. The Nats got 4 in the first, 6 in the second. He gave up home runs to Ryan Zimmerman, a 3-run shot, and a leadoff home run to Denard Span before that. At this stage of his career, that's about how hard he throws. He went 11-9 for Arizona last year, 28 starts. Ryan Zimmerman hits a roller out to second. Owings and Ahmed turn the 4-6-3, and that's just what the D-backs needed. So the Nats, not Corbin out, get a double play ball from Collmenter. 3-0 home team. Stay away. The Nats are up 3-0. How about some Freedom Fireworks coming up on Friday? Nats Rockies. Post-game Freedom Fireworks presented by Kellogg's. Enjoy a performance from the U.S. Navy Ceremonial Guard drill team to kick off the fireworks display. To purchase tickets, find out more. Nationals.com. 8-9-1 for the D-backs in the top of the third.
Max Scherzer made 1-run stand his last start against the Marlins. He's got to feel giddy out there with a 3-run lead in the third.
And he overpowers Ahmed with a fastball. Routine fly ball to Bryce Harper in right, and Josh Collmenter will be the next hitter. For the Achiever in You, PNC Bank, with our minor league report. And we keep updating Trey Turner because he keeps doing things worthy of update. 3 for 4, extra base hit, steal, 3 runs last night. So he is not being overmatched at all after moving from AA San Antonio to our AA in Harrisburg and now on to Syracuse. Josh Collmenter, 5 for 24 this year. He's made 12 starts. They can swing the bat some. But he's facing Max Scherzer, and now, oddly enough, it goes to 3-0.
Max Scherzer, a guy that knows what to do with the lead, any kind of lead. But with a 3-run lead, just keep hitting your spots, pitch to your game plan, don't change a thing.
Right in there.
He knows the Diamondbacks are a very good offensive ball club.
And then he missed on 3-2. Diamondbacks, their second base runner. So the first time around, they go 1 for 8 with a bunt base hit by the man walking in, Ender Inciarte.
It's his 6th walk. And almost 300 right-handed batters faced.
Those darn pitchers with their bats. And that's right in there to the leadoff man, who laid a perfect bunt down the third base line to start the game. Since then, Scherzer had retired 7 straight before that base on balls. Escobar on the grass at third. That's a good looking changeup. 87, just diving on the lefty.
Yeah, watch the arm speed. That's where this pitch is made. Same as his fastball. You see the head kind of snap down and the arm come through just like the heater, but he had the loose grip on it. 8 to 10 miles an hour slower, no chance. Great pitch.
Target in.
He's a slider at 90.
Yeah, looks like Max has his ace stuff tonight, doesn't it? First inning, 11 pitches, then 15.
Wilson Ramos went through all the signs. Finally ended up with fastball in. Let's see if they just start with that here. Again, all the signs. They're going to talk about it. Wilson's going to say, I only have so many fingers.
How many pitches do you have?
I'm trying to think what he didn't show right there. Did he show changeup? I think he went 1. The pinky in, for those of you who don't know, is fastball in. Just a 1 is a regular fastball. And I think he went 2, 3. I didn't see a change in the sequence. Let's see what they do right here. This is good stuff. No sign. They just talked about it. Here we go.
0-2 with the target away, and now up. Ramos wants it. So he bolts the fastball up there and strikes him out. Third K for Max Scherzer. I mean, he put it right where Wilson Ramos set the target.
That was the whole sequence was fantastic. Wilson Ramos didn't give him the fastball up sign, which there really isn't a sign for that. You know, you just give fastball instead of target. And Scherzer talked about it with Wilson Ramos. Said, hey, I want to elevate right here. Give me a high target. I think he's going to chase a fastball up. Not only did they talk about it, they executed it perfectly. And Inciarte chased it. That was great.
Well, he's pulling out the 96 and the 97 early in this one tonight.
It wasn't the pitch he was looking for. It was the location. And he had to call Ramos out to tell him he wanted to throw it up. Just has an idea every single pitch the whole game, what he wants to do. It's impressive.
.88 front door on that one. And A.J. Pollock shuffling his feet and having a word or two with Mark Carlson. Max Scherzer tonight making his 220th career start. 22nd as a Nat. Looking for win number 12. Garrett Cole leads the league with 14. Michael Wacha 12, and then a bunch of guys with 11. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Took a little bit off. That ball gashed out to left center, and Taylor over to cut it off. Max Scherzer has not given up a hit since the first bunt of the game. Some alert defense behind him. The Nats in the 3rd lead by 3.
Feels that it takes hitters coming back from injury around 100 at-bats to get going from a timing standpoint. That's what he felt the last 2 years when he was coming back mid-season from injury. And I asked Jason Worth earlier today whether he agrees with that. He said, yeah, to an extent, that it sometimes depends on how long you've been out due to injury. That can relate to how quickly you can get your timing back. But Worth maintains that despite now being just 4 for 23 since coming off the DL, he feels good with how his swing is and how he's been swinging in the cage and BP. He just says it hasn't translated yet to game situations. He says it totally varies when he gets timing back. It's not necessarily a situation where you know how it's going to be, depending on how long you've been injured or depending on the arms that you're facing. He says it just happens randomly. He feels good and hopes that it's going to translate sometime in these next couple days.
When you're talking cars, you're talking Coons. Thanks, Dan, with our Coons.com sideline report. Swing and a miss by Worth. Bottom of the 3rd underway.
I think it depends what the injury is, too. Every injury is different parts of your body. What you can maintain while you're hurt on the disabled list. You know, if it's a lower half injury, maybe you can still swing a bat. If it's a wrist injury, you can't swing a bat, so now it's going to take a few more at-bats to get your timing. But it's different for everybody based on what kind of hitter you are to start with, how good you are, and what your injury was.
77 came floating in there. Colementor thought he had a strike, and Mark Carlson didn't give him the call. 2-1.
Some guys are natural hitters. They don't need 100 at-bats to get their timing back. Some guys have a lot of stuff going on with their swing, so it's different for everybody. But I'd say 75 to 100 is about standard. And there's a tendency when you don't have your timing early in spring training, if you come off a disabled list, to go get the ball, to jump out there, because you're not trusting your hands. You're not trusting your eyes and what you're seeing. So you want to jump out there and get the baseball. When you're going good, you slow the game down, you let the ball travel. But when you come off a DL early in spring, you want to go out and get it. That's what Jason Worth is doing right now. He's trying to jump out there and get it. And it's natural. You see it with a lot of hitters.
Worth, Desmond, Ramos, 5, 6, 7. Bottom of the third. Nets have pounded out 6 hits to score their 3 runs.
And the more pitches you see, the better your at-bats become. I always like when guys come off the DL when they see some pitches. Because now you get your strike zone, you're seeing rotation, you're getting your timing. The more pitches you can run up in an at-bat, the quicker you'll come back too.
2-2, target inside to Jason. And Matt Williams addressed this today, that even when a guy like this comes back and he's not doing damage yet, he still works the pitcher, works the count. Then eventually things will come around with the base hits and the line drives. And then eventually the power. 2-2, target in again.
He's in swing mode right now. Clemente could bounce one up there. You're going to try to hit it.
Josh Clemente, 29 years of age. 5th year with the D-backs. About to be a 10-pitch at bat.
It's foul ball practice right now. Souvenirs for everybody.
Yeah.
I like it. He's battling. He's seeing pitches. Might be just the right guy for a guy coming off the DL, a guy throwing 85. You know, just see some pitches and don't feel like you have to rush out there to hit a mid-90s fastball. You see Clemente's reaction on that one? He's like, come on, put one in play, dude.
Yeah. I think he's pretty sure at 85 he's not going to throw it by Jason. He just wants him to hit one fair. Hit one fair, finally, out to the gap. The call by A.J. Pollock, the center fielder, first out. Jason Worth really making Clemente work hard.
The annual food drive presented by Harris Teeter is returning to Nats Park August 8th and 9th. Nats take on the Rockies. Bring your non-perishable food items to the center field gate through the second inning. Fans who donate at least 3 items will receive 2 tickets to a future Nats game at home. Hopefully it's at home while supplies last. For more details, go to nationals.com/community. All right, good stuff.
Here's the Desmond. Struck out by Corbin first time up. And against Josh Clemente, 2 for 7 career. A home run, 2 RBIs. Had an infield hit in the 9th inning last night. So coming into this one, Ian had hit safely 11 of his last 14 games.
Says a sneaky delivery, almost like he's throwing an axe at you. And when he lets go of it, the ball's almost on the other side of his head, or at least at the last second. So if you're looking down, you know, straight out there and picking up the window where the ball comes out of with Clemente, even though it's 85, there's a lot of deception. Watch where he lets go of this baseball.
Right down the middle of Desmond. 2 down. Next up, Wilson Ramos.
Just kind of tilts his head, throws a fastball in, locks up Ian Desmond. This will give you a good look at it. Watch the release point. Weird, right?
Yeah.
Hides it behind his head and it comes out the last second.
Wilson Ramos a base on balls against Corbin first time. That good at bat by Wilson extended the inning to 2 more hitters after Taylor got the base hit to deep short, and then Scherzer bounced out.
Really been pounding Ramos in.
He turns on one. Wilson hasn't had that many hits to the pull side lately, and that ball was ripped into left, and that's at their 7th hit. And he's on for the 2nd time.
A different sound to that one off the bat of Wilson Ramos. And I'm sure Matt Williams would like to see his catcher get hot here last 2 months of the year, but look at him pull his hands in, barrel the baseball, and any elevation. It's a 4-0 game because you can't hit a ball any harder than that.
Number 8 hitter Michael A. Taylor. He'll try to extend another inning to turn the lineup over. That was Wilson Ramos' first career hit against Cole Mentor. 1 for 3. Taylor faces the right-hander for the first time. Counts even, 1-1. In the bottom of the 5th in Miami, still 1-0 Marlins over the Mets.
Well, I don't know if you saw it, but Josh Colemanter might have had one of the best in-game interviews in history in spring training this year. His teammate Trevor Cahill was standing behind him and provided his arms. He had his arms inside the jacket, and Cahill had his arms behind him and was drinking water and feeding him seeds. And it was one of the funniest things. And they just kept the straight face the whole time while he's getting interviewed in the dugout for a spring training game. Hilarious. Google it, YouTube it. It's one of the best in-game interviews ever. And if you don't laugh at that, I can't help you. It's hilarious.
Well, they got that double play ball last inning to keep it 3-0. Taylor will fight one off and foul it out of play.
Pretty good grab down there. Brought his glove, lefty. Nice play. See, you bring your glove, you make a nice play, you're a hero in your section.
Yeah.
At least for a couple minutes.
2 balls, 2 strikes. And Taylor will turn on one and line it right at Peralta. So Josh Colemanter not fooling the last couple of hitters. The Nats have stranded 5. They've scored 3 times. South Capitol Street looking north tonight. Scoreboard looking good.
strikeouts in this one. The first one to Paul Goldschmidt, slider down away. This one to Chris Owings, fastball up and in. And this last strikeout was Ender Inciarte, who has the only hit for the Diamondbacks, a bunt single to start this one up. Now it's time for Toyota Case for Kids. The Washington area Toyota dealers want to help children and their families by making a donation of $37 to the Children's NIH for every strikeout by Nats pitcher this season.
Saluting our troops in between innings, as we always do, and Senator John McCain right in the middle. War hero, prisoner of war, refused to come home before his men did. He was offered early release. Great to see him at the yard with our fantastic servicemen and women tonight. Paul Goldschmidt, top of the 4th inning. Fastball. One of the best hitters in the game, late for 94. Feeling pretty good with that heater right now.
It's just deceptive. You see so many good fastball hitters and fastball counts late or swing through the Max Scherzer fastball because of all the stuff we've talked about. The crossfire where he steps toward the hitter, the way he kind of sinks down, and the ball has a rising effect to it because of the release point.
And he goes inside, runs one off the plate. Max Scherzer broke in with the D-backs in 08, 16 games, 7 starts, 0-4. Next year, 30 starts, 9-11. He was traded to the Tigers for Edwin Jackson and Ian Kennedy. That turned out pretty good for everybody except the Diamondbacks. And a nasty breaking ball strikes out Goldschmidt. Mercedes-Benz will track it.
No, just a good sequence. You see the fastballs in the zone, then a little slider with some cutter action to it. Didn't do a whole lot. Maybe acted more like a changeup. Goldschmidt thinking, I'm late for the fastball. I got to speed up my swing. And Scherzer takes a little off to get the strikeout. Nicely done.
Yeah, just one ground ball. That was the Zimmerman unassisted on Lamb, the on-deck hitter, as David Peralta steps in. Peralta fly ball to Worth, first time up to end the first inning.
He's sitting on the fastball late, can't get to it. 95. I mean, these guys see 95 to 100 every single day. Whoever's coming out of the bullpen, starters nowadays. But you see 92 to 95, occasional 97 with Scherzer. But guys on when he's sitting at 93, 94 are having trouble getting to his fastball all season long.
Then he turns over the 85, and Peralta not biting. To the 50 pitch mark here with 1 out, 4th inning. That was way outside. That was a 3-2 off-speed pitch. Second walk by Max tonight, a story unto itself. Walked 3 at Miami in his most recent start, but he was unhittable. He hadn't walked 2 men since May 2nd against Toronto and that monster lineup of theirs. Here's Jake Lamb, bouncing ball to Zimmerman. First time up, Ryan holding Peralta.
See, another guy sitting first pitch fastball, laying in the weeds for the ambush, can't get to it. Surprised they went to the off-speed 3-2 to Peralta. He was having trouble getting the fastball.
Outfield around to the left a bit for Lamb. Pulls it. Base hit. Long way to go for Bryce Harper. So Peralta over to third base pretty easily. And the runners are at the corners with one out. That's Arizona's first swinging base hit of the night.
You see Ramos set up in. And Lamb get to that one. And we talked about Lamb coming into the series hot. And now the Diamondbacks with runners at the corners, one out.
Jared Saltalamacchia, the hitter.
Yeah, Lamb with a couple hits last night, a home run. He came into the series hitting .370 in his last 8 games before last night. Now he's got another base hit here tonight.
Saltalamacchia, .220 for the Marlins last year. Played 9 games with them this year. They released him May 7th, became a free agent the next day, and the Diamondbacks picked him up. He's hitting $197 for them in 24 games. Ramos sets the target outside edge. That ball out of play, left side.
Yeah, Scherzer pitching for the strikeout, obviously, right here, but he definitely take a ground ball.
Third base Peralta, first base Lamb with a walk and a single. Max a couple of misses to that outside.
Kind of hear the Diamondbacks dugout after that pitch, kind of getting into it all of a sudden. They got runners at the corners, one out, 3-1 count to their catcher, and the dugout with some life all of a sudden.
Nats fans below us clapping for an out or two. 3-1 pitch. And Max Scherzer just manages to keep that 86 in the strike zone.
Well, a lot of confidence in the changeup. He hasn't thrown it for a strike in the sequence, and he goes 3-1 change right on the corner for strike 2. And now what does he throw 3-2?
Yeah, it's probably the question in the hitter's mind, huh?
Yep.
So unpredictable is Max Scherzer. Saltalamacchia pulls a base hit. Ramos wanted that ball outer edge. He missed on the other side of the plate, and this is a 3-1 game. One out walk comes back to haunt.
I wonder if there was a little bit of a let up after he struck out the big bad Paul Goldschmidt, and then all of a sudden the walk to Peralta on a 3-2 changeup. He goes to third on a Jake Lamb single, and now Jared Saltalamacchia with another good at bat. Pulls this one through the hole too. Yeah, just a little yank on the fastball, got to the inner half, wanted it outside, and the line moving here for the Diamondbacks all of a sudden in the fourth.
Next up, Chris Owings.
Good slider.
Yep, 88, unreachable.
Owings a tough guy to double up. He could fly.
Strike 2. Ruben Tejada has an RBI, and the Mets have tied the Marlins. Top of the 6th, 1-1. Nats 3-1 here Top of the 4th inning. And that ball was hanging a bit, and now the Diamondbacks are going to score again. Saltalamacchia approaching third base. They're going to send him. Strong throw gets him, but it's way offline from Ian Desmond, and this game is tied. A walk in 3 straight hits. Who saw this coming? Aggressive call by Andy Green at third.
Yeah, and I thought he was going to be out by a mile. Scherzer threw the fastball by Chris Owings twice, then went to the slider with 2 strikes for the punch out. And that allowed him to pull the ball down the corner. Watch this. Ian Desmond gets the ball, and he's just getting to third base. You think he's out by a mile. That's Jared Saltalamacchia. He's the catcher, and Desmond with a good throw gets him by about 3 steps. And with that throw, Chris Owings gets all the way to third base.
Yeah, with 1 out. Dramatic change of events here.
It all started with that 3-2 changeup to Peralta, up by 3.
Infield in. Nick Ahmed, good contact man. The number 8 hitting shortstop. Fly ball to Harper first time. By the way, Chris Owings this year is now 8 for 16 against the Nats with that double. Third on the throw.
Yeah, infield in. Matt Williams bringing him in. Owings can run, so you got to field it cleanly, make a good throw to Ramos. And it looks like the Diamondbacks are going contact play right here with their 8th hitter up.
Trying to make something happen before the pitcher, huh?
Yeah, makes sense. They can't pitch hit for Coleman. They'd be going too deep into their bullpen this early in a ball game. So, yeah. Owings can run. He's trying to get a big lead, and he's going on down angle.
95 on 2-0 thrown by him.
Good fastball, lots of run.
Two balls, 2 strikes. Goes with the heater that time. He overpowered him, but it's fouled straight back.
And that's what you usually see from Max Scherzer when he has, you know, a crisis situation, a high leverage situation going on behind him. He goes to the heater, and right there he shook off the slider from Wilson Ramos and went to the 96. That reach back fastball, that extra gear we've talked about all season long. He's going to it right here, right now, going to the whip.
Two with 1 out. Heater again. That's a tight zone. Has been all night from Mark Carlson, and the count goes full.
Well, Scherzer wanted it and Ramos wanted it. Let's see what pitch track says. Borderline pitch, could have went either way. And now a big pitch coming in this ball game, even though it's just the 4th inning.
A long inning. 3-2 with 1 out. That ball pulled hard and hooking foul into the corner.
Does he have confidence to throw that slider here after Ahmed pulls a fastball on a 3-2 count? He did.
Bases loaded. Actually, 1st and 3rd now. So he walks the number 8 hitter, and here's Josh Colementor. As mentioned earlier, a pitcher who has 5 hits on the year and an RBI.
I think you try to bunt another runner along right here unless you really have confidence that Colementor can hit a fly ball. But even if he hits a fly ball, you got 3 pretty good arms out there in the outfield. You do have good wheels at 3rd, however, in Owings. So let's see how Chip Hale wants to play this. I think the bunt is the play, and he's way up in the box.
Flexing his knees, waiting, and laying off a high fastball. Upstairs again. He walked Colementor last time he faced him.
Yeah, I would say that's by design if there was already a strike, but in a 1-0 count, Scherzer was trying to get that fastball in the zone, so Colementor get the bunt down. You know, usually for strike 2 or strike 3, you elevate, maybe he pops it up, maybe it's a foul.
Max Scherzer has thrown 34 pitches in this inning. Got through the first 3 innings on 41. Nick Ahmed, the runner you saw with his first base coach Dave McKay. 2 balls, 1 strike. Runner coming down the line with Escobar at 3rd. Colementor lays off 93 that looked buntable. Strike 2.
See, I like that play. If Escobar is going to come in as a base runner on 3rd base and you're Owings, you just follow him down the line. If Escobar fields the ball and throws to 1st, you walk home. The bunt should be to 3rd base to Yunel Escobar. But I don't think he's going to charge as hard with 2 strikes as he did with 1.
Pulls the bat back. Now wants to bunt. And he took 3 straight strikes after it was 2-0. Wow. Max Scherzer strikeout number 5, 2 in the inning.
Well, you might say, well, he's a reliever, but he started most of his career, so he's pretty good at handling the bat. Just didn't like that pitch. Didn't think it was a strike.
He had 19 career hits. Top of the order now, Ender Inciarte. He's the 8th Diamondback to bat in this top of the 4th inning. That started with a strikeout to, of all people, Paul Goldschmidt. Changeup. Ball 1.
Might have been another changeup right there, or a slider that just spun in there, but Inciarte way out front. Trying to keep this a 3-3 game.
Long hold, and that not a whole lot foul. I think went about 5 feet beyond the bag. And the count, 1 ball, 2 strikes on an inside-out swing. Pitch number 40 of the inning about to happen.
I think they went with the elevated fastball last inning to get Inciarte with strike 3. See if they go up there again. There, Wilson Ramos gave fastball, and then the flick of the hand means he wants it up.
Scherzer gets it up there. He actually strikes out the side. Only problem was there were 5 other hitters. 3 hits, 2 walks, 3 runs.
Tied at 3 as we go to the bottom of the 4th inning. The Nats got on the board early with 3 in the first. It all started with Yunel Escobar, who was ready to play this ball game, leading off with a big bomb to straightaway center field, his 7th on the year. So there goes the no-hitter, there goes the shutout, 1-0 Nats. Anthony Rendon with a single up the middle. Bryce Harper moving Rendon to third base with a hustle double, nicely done. And then Ryan Zimmerman with a bolt to left field. That scores Anthony Rendon. And that's the Nats 3 runs so far.
Diamondbacks got Patrick Corbin off the hook. Max Scherzer on the first pitch he saw bounced out with the bases loaded back in the first inning to end that frame. So here he is, bottom of the 4th, leading off in a surprising 3-3 game. Ball 2.
Yeah, Max wants nothing more than to lead this thing off with a base hit. Get down there for Yunel Escobar, who's 2 for 2 with the homer.
Cole Mentor, 12 starts now, his last 12 in relief. And the longest relief outing he has had. 4 2/3.
Do you take right here from Max Scherzer automatically? Fill it up?
It's a thought. He was hacking. 3-2 anyway. He gets the walk.
Well, that's the last thing that Chip Hale wanted after his team clawed back into this and tied it at 3 as a leadoff walk to the opposing pitcher. Leadoff walk to anybody, let alone a pitcher.
Yeah, kind of odd. They've walked each other. Max Scherzer, first time with a base on balls this year. Top of the order, Escobar 2 for 2.
I look at Scherzer after that long inning. Now he's running the bases. He looks a little bit gassed. I mean, he's in as good a shape as anybody, though. I should preface it with that for sure.
Escobar, by the way, 3 for 3 career against Colementor. Then a good pitch to lay off of. That was a fastball that would have jammed him. Pitch number 3 went a long, long way. Left the bat at 97. Then the off speed skips in. 1 ball, 1 strike. Building up some hits now in a 5-game streak. Didn't like the call, obviously.
I'm just guessing that there was about 6 or 7 no-nos in there. He thought it was up, maybe outside. Escobar didn't like the call.
One and 2 now. And Escobar drills another one. This one right center to the scoreboard and caught by A.J. Pollock. Scherzer has to hustle all the way back to the bag. He was already at second base. So Escobar, 3 big swings tonight. And A.J. Pollock went and got it.
Well, a good base running by Max Scherzer. Great play by A.J. Pollock. But you know Escobar's just absolutely locked in at the plate. It doesn't matter where you pitch him. He thought he had another homer. And watch A.J. Pollock get on his horse and go get this in right center field. The guy that covers a lot of ground makes a really difficult play look easy. Scherzer had to retouch second base. He crossed it and hustled all the way back to first. So a lot of running for Scherzer. And I'm looking down there. He's got his hands on his knees trying to get his breath back. Colementor appreciating the effort.
Yeah, Pollock dealing with that fence out there after he made a running catch. Well, how about the swings Escobar and Rendon have put on tonight? Anthony is singled up the middle and lined out hard to center.
You know, I heard Ray talking about the dog days late in the season last night, and what does that mean? Well, obviously everybody tired at this point of the year, but as a hitter, there's certain nights when you just pick up your bat and it feels like a telephone pole, and there's certain nights when you pick up your bat and it feels like a wiffle ball bat. And it starts to happen late in the season. Sometimes you see guys go from a 32-ounce bat to a 31-ounce bat, maybe a lighter bat late in the year when you're getting a little bit tired. But I always thought the least amount of work later in the season was better for a hitter. Sometimes guys hit so much that that bat gets heavy in August and September. Then that's when you go through the slumps as a hitter. You just pick up your bat on a given day. You see so many hitters working on, you know, where are my hands? Where's this? What's this guy going to throw me? Sometimes it's as simple as picking up your bat and it feels light on one day and it feels heavy on another day. And the days that it feels heavy, you just have to figure out a way to get a knocker to help your ball club in some other way.
One and 2 now to Rendon.
Jason Giambi, who was a slugger, used to use a 33-ounce bat until about the middle of August, and he'd go all the way down to a 31-ounce bat, maybe even a 30-ounce bat in September, just to keep his bat speed because he felt so tired. He felt his bat getting heavier. A lot of guys go to lighter bats late in the season.
Fastball inside, and Rendon works the count full with Bryce Harper waiting. Rendon, a career RBI against Colementor, 1 for 4. Bottom of the 4th inning, 3-3 game. Delayed a half hour at the start because of radar. Started at 7:35, then an ad. Batted forever in the bottom of the 1st to score 3. Then the Diamondbacks batted forever in the top of the 4th to tie it at 3. gashes one out there, but Pollock was shading him toward the gap, and Max Scherzer has to hustle back to the bag again.
Boy, 2 bolts to center field, and A.J. Pollock with great jumps on both of them, and Max Scherzer has to be gassed. We talked about how he looked gassed just getting to first base on the walk, but he's done this twice. First one, he actually crossed second base and had to sprint back. So Scherzer getting his work in on the base pass here in the bottom of the 4th.
Bryce Harper's third at bat. He has doubled, scored, and walked. Yeah, pitch up there, called a strike. Harper career 1 for 2 against Cole Mentor with an RBI.
Called it a strike, but that's not where Cole Mentor wants it. Belt tie to Bryce Harper.
Target away. Then that 180, the bottom dropping out on the change, and it's 1-2. Target way out there again. And Bryce will hit a 2-hopper. He'll be thrown out by Ahmed, the shortstop, who was playing up the middle. So the Nats have stranded 6. This one kicking and screaming into the 5th inning. Yeah, happy times back in that first inning. The Nats have had 2 hits since. They've left a half-dozen base runners on. And we go to the top of the 5th inning. And first off, Geico President's Race. Early lead for George. Wow. Look at Calvin getting rough with Bill.
Teddy coming on strong in the back there.
Wow, and then George gives Calvin a shove. Oldest guy against the youngest guy right there. Who wants to actually race? Teddy takes out Tom. And Teddy backs in to taunt. Or was it Abe? Teddy turns around to going backwards, and Abe beats him.
Almost like it was fixed.
Yeah. The Rough Rider needs to be a little more focused.
Yeah.
Come on.
He's distracted easily.
They're saying it might have been Teddy by a spectacle in a photo finish. A.J. Pollock, Paul Goldschmidt, David Peralta, 2, 3, 4. Max Scherzer has thrown 81 pitches, and 40 of them came in the 4th inning.
See if that base running for Scherzer comes into play. I'm going to say it doesn't.
Some of the biggest hook on a slider we've seen all night. He struck out 3 batters last inning. Walked 2, gave up 3 hits. He's had the heater all night.
He has. It's been jumping out of his hand from the get-go.
Pollock pulls it, and Escobar there to scoop it up. That's only the 2nd ground ball out tonight.
And that's season plan holders can now renew their plans for 2016 season. Season plan holders are renewed by August 31st. Can also secure extra 2015 postseason tickets. Visit nationals.com/renew for all your renewal and postseason ticket details. Sharp lid on the right. The clown hats, as we used to call them.
I always liked the blue ball caps you guys wore on the road with the gray unis. I thought that was a good look. The Expo blue caps.
We wore blue caps all the time, but in the minor leagues, when the major league teams still had the clown unis, we wore those. We wore the clown hats in A-ball.
Paul Goldschmidt, 2 strikeouts against Max Scherzer. This one high in the air. Ryan Zimmerman over to have a look. It's going to come back a little, but not enough.
I'll tell you what, I stood by the cage and watched Goldschmidt take BP yesterday. And it's all he does is spread out, go no stride, and get his hands inside the baseball. And it's kind of ugly the first couple of rounds. But what he was doing, he's going the other way, just kind of hitting soft balls to second base, bloopers into right, and really pulling his hands inside and getting them into the right slot. And if you watch his swing, it's an inside-out swing. All of his power is to center, to right center. He could pull you out of here, too. But it was interesting to see a big power guy start his batting practice that way. And it was something you just don't see. And Mark Grace was standing behind the cage, and he said, watch these first 2 rounds or don't watch them. But that's his routine every day, just getting his hands in the right position, hitting the ball to right field, so that he doesn't come around the baseball, get too big, too long with his swing, to keep it nice and short and compact.
2 balls, 2 strikes with 1 out. And Scherzer gets him again. Strikeout victim 1, 4, and now 7. And Paul Goldschmidt in this series is 0 for 7.
So round 1 went to Scherzer, round 2 goes to Scherzer. Now round 3, same way. Fastball away, big slider misses. Another slider misses, then he goes challenge fastball. It's been good. You really haven't seen a Diamondbacks hitter catch up to the heater from Scherzer yet tonight. Maybe 1 to right field, and I think it was Lamb last inning, hit the ball through the hole. Maybe Saltalamacchia too, but ground balls that found a hole, but nobody really has squared up the Scherzer fastball all night long.
So Mercedes-Benz with that outstanding pitch sequence. Scherzer to Goldschmidt. That matchup, no contest tonight.
Another example, 92 and Peralta late.
1-1.
same way. Remember I used to always say I'd like to stand in there and see Tyler Clippard and just see what it looks like for a hitter?
Yeah.
The same way for Scherzer. I mean, to see him just consistently blow 92 to 95 past people in hitters counts, just to see that deception and what he's got going on with his delivery, the release point, the whole deal, that'd be awesome. I think it'd be cool if fans could just stand in for 195 mile an hour just to get an idea of how hard it really is. Yeah. Just stand there and feel a 95 mile an hour fastball go by you because you ain't seeing it.
Got him. Got the call on the corner. 8 strikeouts in 5 innings for Max Scherzer. So evidently plenty in the tank still. To the 5th, Zimmerman, Worth, Desmond. 3-3 game.
Thank you for your service to our country. It's greatly appreciated. We know you miss your families. Those of you that are abroad, come home soon safely. And once again, for the Coast Guard, protect our shores. God bless you. Happy birthday.
Man, would he be a drill sergeant or what, Mark Wiedemeyer? Well done, sir.
I must say there was some coffee involved in that.
I'm not sure how much he needs with that personality, but that would be the icing on the cake, so to speak. When the Nats hit a homer, and Escobar's done it tonight, $250 to the Children's National Health System. Thanks to our Washington, D.C. Lexus dealers. Lexus, the pursuit of perfection. Ryan Zimmerman, 9th inning last night, seemed to ignite a few things with his mighty blast halfway up the blue seats and left. Tonight he's 1 for 2 with an RBI hit. Be careful going in there. 85, and Ryan took it.
I think he thought it was in. Have a little chat.
One of the big plays of the game, not to be overlooked, is when Colementor came into the game and got Zimmerman to bounce into that 4-6-3. The Nats have 1 hit since. They were knocking on the door of maybe a 4-0 lead with 2 men on at that point.
Hit the ball hard last inning, though. Escobar, Rendon.
Boy, did they. Unrewarded. Zimmerman goes the other way. Hits that ball extremely well. Back to get it, Ender Inciarte. Diamondbacks have a really good defensive outfield. And they're all hitters, too.
Josh Colementor pitching to contact, but pitching to hard contact.
Correct.
I always like how people use that term only when a pitcher is pitching well. He's pitching to contact. Well, if a guy gives up 15 hits in 3 innings, he was pitching to contact too.
Yeah, bad contact.
Bad contact and good contact.
Jason Worth 0 for 2, RBI ground ball. 86 in there after he nibbled on a couple. Got a corner, 2-1. Cole Mentor has now pitched 3 full innings in relief. And Worth will pull it left side out to short. Ahmed circling behind it on the run. Perfect throw. 2 outs.
All right, here's your fan photo. Tweet your strongest fan photo. Hashtag NatsCouchCam. And you just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast that's brought to you by T-Mobile.
Very nice.
Outstanding.
Looks like Dad's watching the Nats, huh? On the couch.
Of course. Big Nats fans. Friends of mine.
Here's Ian Desmond. Desmond struck out by Corbin swinging in the first. Cole Mentor looking in the third. Jock Peterson, most strikeouts in the league, 128. Chris Bryant, 126. And then Ian, 124. Got hot 2 weeks ago. Trying to kind of restart things here.
Yeah, I think you just hit the nail on the head with restart things. Had so much momentum in the first inning. You know, Bryce Harper's hustle double had the crowd on their feet. The place was rocking. You're thinking 3-0 with Max Scherzer. This game's over. Diamondbacks done a nice job climbing back in this, and it is hard once the other team gets the momentum to restart things and get it going again. But that's what you have to do if you're the Nats.
87. Ian Desmond on strikes for the 3rd time tonight. So this one to the 6th inning. 3-3 and a long way to go.
Wade Boggs was well known in his playing career for eating chicken before every game that he played in. Well, Max Scherzer has his own superstitious meal that he eats before every start. He has a gigantic, and I mean gigantic, roast beef sandwich. He stacks that thing. Scherzer told me he gets so hungry when he pitches, so he's countered that over the years by eating a huge sandwich, and he started making them larger and larger as he's gotten older. Some players told me they don't have a consistent pregame meal, anything that they go to every single game, but some have a go-to. Gio Gonzalez has pasta, and Max Scherzer has a massive roast beef sandwich every time.
Very nice. Tell you what, he needs every bit of protein out there right now. Warm night, 95 pitches in 5 innings. Jake Lamb 1 for 2. Base hit, a run scored last time. Drops in the 82 with lots of movement. Counts even 1-1. Mets have taken a 2-1 lead at Miami, 8th inning. And they have runners at second and third, 2 outs. Scherzer under the bat of the left-hander. Aaron Barrett, Scherzer's batting spot due up third in the 6th. Diamondbacks box score: 1 bunt hit, 1 walk through 3. And then a Peralta walk, followed by Lamb, Saltalamacchia singles, Owings the big double. And that's how they got 3 runs in quick fashion. 5 batters in a row got on base. And that slider spinning into the dirt, 2-2. (4-1) Mets in the 8th now. They're trying to start winning some road games, which they had not done all year. 3-3 here in DC. 2-2 pitch. Scherzer missing, not by much, at the bottom of that zone.
This game becomes even bigger if the Mets go on to win that game in South Florida. It's already big.
He's getting that call on the outside edge. Peralta took one last inning to end the 5th, and now that's number 9 against Jake Lamb in the 6th.
Yeah, fastball. Ramos frames this nicely, and it buys a call. Might have been a little bit outside, but Scherzer's been nailing that outside pitch, so nice job of executing the game plan. Good frame by Ramos.
Max has struck out 10 batters or more 6 times this year. But the last time he did it was June 20th in a 5-0, actually the no-hitter against the Pirates, the 6-0 win. And Saltalamacchia goes up hacking at what would have been a strike anyway. He had a big hit for them last time up, got him on the board. After the walk and the single in the 4th, made it a 3-1 game. Then Owings tied it. Great changeup.
Well, you want Max Scherzer to get through this inning unscathed so that he can qualify for a win should the Nats put up a run in the bottom of the 6th. Matt Williams going to give him a lot of leash here, you'd think.
And if he does, it'll be the 21st time in 22 starts he goes at least 6. Just using up those fastballs here. Now Matt Thornton joins Aaron Barrett. Good job of jamming a left-handed batter. Desmond out. Ian's under it, and that's 2 outs here in the 6th.
Be sure to text Masson's word of the day haircut to 29292 for your chance to win a meet and greet with Anthony Rendon. That's brought to you by Haircuttery, home of the smile back guarantee. No small print, just big smiles.
Max Scherzer is trying to retire the last 8 batters he faces. Here's Chris Owings, who hooked that double into the left field corner last time to tie the game. Off to the right it goes. Strike one.
That's been all about the fastball tonight for Max.
Oh, 2.
It's number 113 coming. He's still throwing 95, 96.
Season high 119. And that near no-hitter at Milwaukee. The 0-2. One more slider in the dirt, and Owings not biting. And a fastball hit weakly over to Zimmerman. Max Scherzer finishes strong. He retires the last 8 Diamondbacks he faces. Now let's see if the Nats with the bats and go get him a W. May not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the expressed written consent of the Washington Nationals. To the bottom of the 6th at Nationals Park. New pitcher for the Diamondbacks, and he'll be facing Ramos Taylor. Then a pinch hitter, Cliff Pennington, on a double switch, will bat 9th and play second base. Left-hander Andrew Chafin, just 25 years of age. He'll make his 43rd appearance and sporting a .263 ERA.
Yeah, fastball 92, slider 82, occasional changeup. But really hasn't thrown it a whole lot this year. He threw it 13% of the time last year, just 1% of the time this year. And that's trying to push one across for Max Scherzer to qualify for a win. You'd think Scherzer's night is over.
Wilson Ramos 1 for 1 against the lefty. What a job by Josh Colmenter. He went 3 2/3. Gave the Nats 1 hit. Couldn't score against him. Didn't walk anybody. Struck out a couple. And as mentioned earlier, he got that big double play ball against Ryan Zimmerman to start his night. And he has kept this game reasonable for the D-backs. Up the middle to his left, Nick Ahmed. Ramos 1 for 2. He walked and singled earlier. So the Nats box score, most of it stuffed into the first inning. Escobar homer, Rendon single, Harper double, Zimmerman RBI single, Worth RBI grounder. Since then, just 3 hits. Taylor in the first, Escobar in the second, Ramos in the third, and that's been it. Michael A. Taylor off to the right side. Taylor 0 for 1 against Chafin.
Number 1 in opponents average for rookies, average against 217. So Chafin having a nice year out of the Diamondbacks bullpen. ERA, he's second for rookies in the National League with a 2.63.
Right in a power guy, Dan Uggla next.
His last 10 outings, hitters are just 3 for 34 against him with an 0.88 average.
Diamondbacks tied with San Diego coming in 8.5 behind the Dodgers in the West. Six back in the wild card race.
Come on, Mike.
So the Mets got 4 runs in the top of the 8th. Marlins batting right now down 5-1. Diamondbacks are 2 games under 500. They're trying to win their 8th out of their last 10. But the Nats still tied after everything that's gone on tonight. And now Taylor a 3-2 count.
Wristband's gone.
And Taylor on what would have been ball 4 strikes out. 2 outs in the inning.
Visit Pfitzner Stadium this summer for great baseball, affordable family fun. There's all kinds of good stuff going on. For all your ticket and promotional information, visit PotomacNationals.com.
Hope you all enjoyed that feature on Lucas Giolito. A lot of it around Pfitzner Stadium that we showed you during the radar delay earlier this evening. Kind of interesting that his roommate was Nick Pivetta, who shortly thereafter was traded for Papelbon to the Phillies. Rain has arrived at 9:54. Dan Uggla 1 for 1 career against Andrew Chafin with a double.
Get a good pitch, let it rip.
Enhancing the chances of that. 2-0.
I say let it rip here. See if he gets a green light.
Uggla lets it rip. Didn't get it though. And close to the left field wall, David Peralta pulls it in. 1-2-3. And the Diamondbacks bullpen has shut down the Nats.
Thanks for serving our country so well for all these years. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve McCatty. Up in the booth here. It's been a long night. A few raindrops are falling. 3-3 ball game. Started out great for the Nats. With that first inning, you figured, okay, this is what we've been waiting for. That breakaway type game. Scherzer pitching, and now things are a little more interesting 6 innings later.
Well, these are the games you got to have. We talk about momentum changing games. The Mets going into that series lost a heartbreaker to the Padres. They won that first game of the series against the Nats. They're winning again tonight. Might have turned their season around. So a game like tonight might be just like that for the Nats. I mean, these are the games you have to win if you want to keep pace with the Mets and if you want to win your division. These are the gut checks, character test, any cliche you want to throw out there. 3-3 game, you had a 3-0 lead. You got to find a way to get another run across the plate and keep it right there.
So the Hold'em assignment for the bullpen starts with Casey Janssen. Max Scherzer threw 114 pitches, 76 strikes. Quite a battle for him to get through 6 after that long fourth inning of 40 pitches. Nick Ahmed, the shortstop, hits one in the air to left. Jason Worth just trotting in for it.
I mean, how bleak was it looking for the Mets? They had the trade, no trade. Wilmer Flores crowned at shortstop. They lost a tough game to the Nats before that when they left town last time. They drop a heartbreaker to the Padres with rain delays all over the place, and you're thinking, this team's going south. But just to show you as an example of how quick things can change with one game, you know, they won the first game on Friday. They win Saturday. We win Sunday. The first game in Miami, they're winning tonight. Momentum is a fickle thing, and it can change in one baseball game. So 3-3 game here, you don't want to over dramatize it, but hey, with your ace on the mound, a 4-game losing streak, these are the games you got to win.
31-year-old infielder Cliff Pennington came in on the double switch, so he's playing second base. Casey Janssen has been throwing the ball extremely well lately, drops it in.
It's all about finding a way, however that is.
Great pitch, inside edge, locking up the hitter, 2 outs. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. This is nobody who played for the Mets, but you know, FP, you and I came to town with the guys, come to the ballpark on Friday. People are walking us and saying, we're done, Mets are done, that was horrible yesterday, you guys are going to take care of business. And it just goes to show, first of all, that's not the way you should feel about it, but how quickly things can change in this game.
Well, the people that said we're done never played the game before. And baseball players are about that day. That's all they care about is one day. Today's game.
Wow, how close was Escobar playing from the ball right to him? Casey Janssen, as quick as a cup of coffee on a cold day. And we go to the bottom of the 7th. It's the Hyundai 7th inning stretch. Looking over toward the Navy Yard on the Anacostia. How about some offense in the ballpark right upriver? Rendon and Harper. Chafin still in the ball game. Numbers from Jeep. Highest average as a third baseman this season. The youngster Matt Duffy of the Giants having a fantastic year. Escobar ahead of Manny Machado, an all-star, and Josh Donaldson. Now those guys hit for a lot of power, but that batting average plus a 2 for 3 tonight, now 315. Certainly impressive.
2 for 3, and he got robbed last time up.
He did. Escobar against Chafin career 1 for 1. Ball 2. Drew Storn for the 8th. And his last 3 8th-inning appearances have been absolutely perfect. 9 up, 9 down. Escobar takes a heater that misses 3-0.
Good take right there. He wanted to swing 2-0. He's thinking about doing some damage, a leadoff double or more, and lays off a borderline pitch to get the count to 3-0, and he's taking all the way right here.
Pitch. No. He's on base for the 3rd time tonight.
The animation sensation from Escobar is just fantastic.
It's the best thing that ever happened to field microphones in a baseball game.
He is. Maybe we can hear it. Well, we'll look at it first. No.
Anthony Rendon has had 3 good at-bats. He has gashed it 3 times, once up the middle of base hit, and he's lined out to center twice. Last time it was a screamer over toward the gap that Pollock ran down.
Hey, you're not going to bunt in this situation because that takes the bat out of Bryce Harper's hand. They'll just walk him. So Rendon, a guy that's really adept at hitting behind the runner, is looking to hit something to the right side. And look where Aaron Hill's playing. He's right up the middle. He's got the whole right side if he wants it.
Chafin now trying to find the strike zone.
Look at that.
He's missed on 6 out of 7 pitches.
I mean, that's got to be staring you in the face if you're Anthony Rendon, doesn't it? I mean, it's not that easy to guide a ball through there, but if anybody can do it, it's Rendon. Look at that. Got the whole side.
Yeah, he's got about 85 feet over there.
Trying. I'm going to say that's not his best move. Just going out on a huge limb.
Escobar could have been halfway to second. 2-1. Ball 3.
You could play hit and run baseball right here if you're Matt Williams. It'd be an aggressive move.
That adds 2 hits since the 1st inning.
Yeah, you can see where Rendon's looking after that swing. He's trying to shoot that hole. Do you start the runner right here? A lot of managers would.
Rendon, a solid contact guy. Big gap left center now. 3-2 pitch and a double play. Goldschmidt picks it off, 3 unassisted, 2 outs.
Well, that's just unfortunate. Rendon did everything right there. He was trying to hit the hole. He was trying to hit the hole to hold that bat. He gets to a 3-2 count and gets a pitch to do it with. And that's a run. I mean, that's down the right field corner, and that's a run. And Paul Goldschmidt does a nice job of guarding the line late in the game. Didn't bounce off as far as he normally does in that situation to take away the hole. He stayed right where he should have been and made a nice play.
Bryce Harper against Chafin, 1 career AB, and the lefty walked him. To center. Well hit. Pollock's there. Short of the track, and the inning's over. To the 8th. The Nats and the Diamondbacks battling it out. 3-3 game. Birthday of the U.S. Coast Guard, brought to you by DynCorp International. We serve today for a better tomorrow. And by Navy Federal Credit Union, proudly serving the armed forces and their families for over 80 years. And a footnote on the Coast Guard: protecting the maritime economy and the environment, defends our maritime borders, saves those in peril. We thank them on the high seas for all that they do for us. 8th inning. Drew Storen's last 3 appearances, all in the 8th inning. 2 of those in Miami, 1 here last night. 9 hitters up, 9 hitters down, 26 pitches, 23 strikes.
And the slider has been ridiculous. The command has been the best we've ever seen it, with all the pitches, but especially the slider.
Got a comebacker off the bat of A.J. Pollock last night.
There it is.
Front door, breaking down and away, you name it. The slider's been all over the strike zone. A.J. Pollock an 0 for 3 tonight in the series. 1 for 6. Base hit last night, a sac fly.
See if he tries to expand with that slider down the way in an 0-2 count.
Sure did. Didn't have to bury it. He gets a fly ball to Harper. How good is Drew Storen right now? Goldschmidt next, and he fouled him out last night. Watch every out-of-market game live or on demand in True HD on over 400 mobile and connected devices. It's MLB.TV Premium. Real-time highlights, live look-ins, pitch tracking, widget, and more. Every night, every device. Blackout. Other restrictions do apply. Visit MLB.TV.
This guy will sit on the slider, though. You still got to locate it.
Right in there. Goldschmidt 1 for 4 career against Drew. Somebody finally gets a fastball, and it's 93.
Yeah, it took the slider for strike one, and then a little bit tardy, or maybe looking for that fastball in based on the replay.
Front door slider strikes him out. 4 strikeouts of Paul Goldschmidt tonight. And he's 0 for 8 in this series.
Yeah, that's just strange to see Paul Goldschmidt not make contact 4 times, not have a hit in the series. And did this slider come back? Good enough for Mark Carlson to call it strike 3. Goldschmidt totally disagreed. And Drew Storen with another big out for the Nats.
Storen struck out Peralta last night. So it's kind of odd how things work out, facing the same 3 hitters he did in the game Monday night. Fastball away, sliders all over, you name it. Drew Storen's throwing it for strikes.
Well, the ball's moving all over the place. It's almost like he's playing a wiffle ball game with his sinker running, his slider diving and darting, changeup going down and away from lefties. Whatever he throws is just nothing straight, nothing even close to straight.
That was ball 1, but who's going to take a pitch against Drew Storen these days? Wilson Ramos pounces, and 4 dominant 8th inning appearances in a row for Drew Storen. Ryan Zimmerman looks like he can't wait to get a bat and a helmet and some gloves. Eight and 5, despite a 4.59 ERA, so he's getting great run support. He beat the Nats May 12th, 4 runs in 7 innings. Gio, 8 and 4. D-backs have never beaten him. 2-0 with a 2.84 in 4 career starts against Arizona. Johnny and Ray, Nats Extra from the ballpark at 6:30. Drew Storen, 9 pitches, 9 strikes.
That's good.
So let me add this up. Last 4 appearances, 35 pitches, 32 strikes. How did he miss with 3? That's ridiculous.
And David Hernandez takes the hill for the Diamondbacks. Fastball 94, slider 82, occasional changeup. 17th appearance. ERA 3.07, and the league getting 255 against him.
Ryan Zimmerman leads off. Ryan, career 2 for 7 with a walk against the Arizona right-hander. .96 way inside, 2-0.
The pitch Ryan hit out last night was a mid-90s fastball. He's looking for the same thing right here in a 2-0 count.
Trying to frame it, Saltalamacchia, ball 3. Is the answer yes?
Well, he's looking down for the green light. He never really does. I can't remember too many times when Ryan has swung 3-0.
Yeah, you've made that point a lot over the years that just not his MO as a rule.
Some guys like it, some guys don't. Let's see if he does here, though. This would be the time if you're going to do it.
No need. That was way too low and outside. The Nats for the second straight inning have a leadoff walk. They've really been unlucky hitting the ball tonight. A number of lineouts to the outfield. Last inning, a lineout to Goldschmidt for an unassisted double play. So Worth and company looking for something to fall in here. Jason Worth against Hernandez. Career 0 for 3 with a base on balls. Jason 0 for 3 tonight. RBI grounder back in the first.
Yeah, got to get him in the strike zone right here. Jason Worth, the perfect guy. Make him throw strikes. All right, game on. Here you go.
All right, 97. He runs it back to the corner. Mets have beaten Miami 5-1, the last reported score I saw. So a game and a half. Up to the Nats, whether it's 1 or 2. High heat, 2-1.
I'm surprised that the Diamondbacks didn't check that. Even though Worth didn't go, his body went. Bat didn't.
Good pitch to lay off, 3-1.
One pitch, one spot. Be ready for a mistake right down the middle and be all over it.
No doubles defense by the deep playing Diamondbacks here. And Worth hits one out of play right side. Count goes full.
Jason Worth taking a peek to see if Matt Williams is going to start Ryan Zimmerman here in a 3-2 count. And he looked back to the dugout. You see that last little peek? He looked to Bob Henley for the sign, then he looked back to Matt Williams as he got in the box.
On a ball up, he rips it to left. Zimmerman's going to third. Ball makes it to the wall. It is second and third. Nobody out. That might be Jason Worth's best contact since he came back 7 games ago.
Pretty good at bat right there by Jason Worth. Got the 3-1 fastball up, was on it, but it was just a hair up. Then he gets the count to 3-2, gets a fastball in, and watch how quick he is and how slow he was with his feet. There's the patented Jason Worth bat flip. And a nice play by David Peralta down here in the corner to keep Ryan Zimmerman at third. He got down there quick. He made a great throw to Ahmed. And Jason Worth a little downshifting when he gets to second base. Watch. Yep, a little downshift. Game on.
Well, they say nothing good ever happens after 10 o'clock when you walk the leadoff man. So Worth's double sets up the Nats for a big inning here. Ian Desmond next. Following him, Wilson Ramos. And we'll see if they decide to pitch to Desmond.
Oh, they're going to pitch to Desmond. They're just going to pitch very carefully and see if he'll chase. Ian Desmond knows the drill. They're going to 0-2 him. If they pitch to him, they're going to bounce some stuff and really rely on Saltalamacchia to block it. Guys that'll chase out of the zone, that are aggressive with runners in scoring position, you don't intentionally walk. But you have to trust your catcher to block anything in the dirt.
Ian Desmond 0 for 3 tonight. He's 0 for 4 career against Hernandez. And that slider had him missing by 6 to 8 inches.
And they're not going to throw him as a strike until he makes them. Or they shouldn't.
Outside and well blocked by Saltalamacchia as Zimmerman came down the line just in case.
He's going to see a couple of more of those, and he really got to rely on Saltalamacchia. This was a wrestle right here. His glove was caught in between the forehand and the backhand. He finally flipped it over at the end and kept it in front.
Diamondbacks not in real close on the infield. Closest guy is Lamb at third. Ooh, Desmond, 81 hanging slider, took it for a strike.
Well, the reason the Diamondbacks, at least the middle infielders, are giving themselves room is because you're thinking with nobody out, Matt Williams isn't going contact. And if he does, Ryan Zimmerman with a short lead at third, not a burner, so you give yourself more range. They're playing in between, halfway. Good shortened up swing by Desmond right there.
Desmond takes a fastball that just misses.
Saltalamacchia is having a chat right now with Mark Carlson. He's doing it the right way, looking at his pitcher. He thought this was a strike.
And a breaking ball foul. Ball sitting up a bit.
Good fight going on. Boy, in these situations, you really, really want the first guy to get the job done so the pressure doesn't fall to the second or third guy. You want to seal the deal with nobody out.
Fastball away. Desmond gets it on the ground. Zimmerman stays at third. Slow roller. Ryan didn't try it. 1 out. Now Wilson Ramos.
Well, they weren't going contact play. It was a read by Zimmerman. You saw the shuffles down the line. And with no outs, decided not to take a chance. Matt Williams didn't have the contact play on. And Ian Desmond just heard it from the home fans.
Wilson Ramos, first career at bat against David Hernandez. Looking to elevate. That was a slider up in the zone. He took it a strike. A walk and a base hit for Ramos tonight. 1 for 2. Well, 75% of the time he's taking care of business.
Let the ball get deep. Think about the big part of the ballpark up the middle. Pretty good arm in right, pretty good arm in left, and pretty good arm in center. They all can throw. Matt Williams really trusting Ryan Zimmerman to be able to score on a sac fly.
Best arm the Diamondbacks have is in right field in Ciarte. Ramos, a little blooper into right. to put the Nats on top. Worth coming in. Inciarte's throw is way up the line, and it's 5-3 Washington.
Buffalo with a huge knock. Great job with 2 strikes, shortening up your swing, putting it in play. Great at bat by Ryan Zimmerman. Jason Worth gets to a 3-2 count, rifles one into the corner. Ian Desmond does his best with 2 strikes to put it into play. And now Wilson Ramos with a little flare into right. And you thought Inciarte with his arm and the way he charged, this was going to be close at the plate, but he pulled it a little bit. And a good read by Jason Worth going around Jared Saltalamacchia. 5-3 Nats in a big 8th inning.
Here's Michael A. Taylor. And now everything's set up for Jonathan Papelbon in the right field bullpen. Still only 1 out in the inning. Papelbon, first appearance at home last night. Gave up a couple of hits, a home run. But the Nats were down a bunch at the time. He'll have a different mindset for this 9th inning. And that's a breaking ball up in the zone, 0-2. Wilson Ramos on base for the 3rd time. He now has 45 RBIs. Nasty. Michael A. Taylor down on strikes. And Clint Robinson will pinch hit with 2 outs.
It's just a nice job of hitting with 2 strikes. When you get to 2 strikes in that situation, you take pull out of the equation. You can't even think about the inside part of the plate. And watch his hands fire inside the baseball, and he's letting it get deep and extended just enough to get the end of the bat on it, but he's thinking the other way. The hands were in the right slot. We talked about Paul Goldschmidt's batting practice earlier in the game and how he gets his hands inside the ball so he could do something just like Wilson Ramos just did. Goldschmidt having a tough night. Wilson Ramos having a great night. You see the horns at second base. 2nd hit of the night for Ramos, and the 2nd one, the biggest.
Clint Robinson will be facing a left-handed batter, or will he? A left-handed pitcher. They're bringing in Oliver Perez. Tyler Moore will replace Robinson. The Nats on top and wheels turning, bottom of the 8th. Second on the throw, so he's at second with 2 outs, and the pitcher will be Oliver Perez. 39 appearances with a 4.0, actually a 3.25 ERA in 28 innings, 33 strikeouts, and the league's hitting .231.
Yeah, fastball averaging 92, slider 80, and opponents hitting .231, lefties 186. So Matt Williams going to switch it up and let Tyler Moore have a crack at it.
Tyler Moore, first career at bat against Perez. Went with the off-speed breaking ball way outside. Tyler Moore is a pinch hitter. 4 hits, a homer, 3 RBIs this year. But just 4 for 37 in that role. Timing would be great here to put the Nats up by 3. And Perez spinning another one. It's in there. Counts even. Nice rip on 93.
Yeah, good hack. Perez has got all kinds of stuff going on, doesn't he? The way he sets his glove. They're going to have a little talk about what they want to do here in a 2-strike count. Kind of presents his glove first and then puts the ball in it. Whoop. See?
And he strikes out Tyler Moore. Big inning for the Nats. Started with a walk to Zimmerman. A Worth double after 1 out. Wilson Ramos, just enough bat, just enough strength to get it down the right field line. Worth and Zim score. Nats lead. Papelbon next. A mop-up situation last night to get some work. In that 9th inning, he threw 13 pitches, 10 strikes, gave up a homer and later a single. And here he comes. That was moments ago. He's well into his warm-up tosses now. He'll face Jake Lamb, Jared Saltalamacchia, and the pitcher spot for the D-backs 9th inning.
First home save opportunity for Papelbon. Fastball 91, slider 80, splits the out pitch at 86 as you look at the arsenal.
D-backs, by the way, have no left-handed bats on their bench.
Solid numbers for the Nats right-hander.
Jake Lamb, first career at bat against Jonathan Papelbon. Lamb tonight 1 for 3, a single and a run scored. Right in there with 92. Got a fastball up. Not much a left-handed hitter could do with that. Ruby De La Rosa, Gio tomorrow night. Nats Extra 6:30. First pitch 7:05.
Pretty intense look from Papelbon.
Didn't miss by much. Ramos tried to pull it back. The ball diving severely, missed low and in.
Yeah, that's the split he usually goes to for the out pitch. Big pitch coming. Shook 2 fastballs.
88 and a foul tip. Pretty good tailing action on that. Hitter so late for it, out of play.
I mean, it's just got to fire you up as a player to be pitching for something all of a sudden. I mean, he did a great job for the Phillies at his time there, especially this year. But, you know, yeah, you want to save the game for 24 other guys, but now you're playing for a bigger purpose. You know, he talked about being with the winner, getting out of Philadelphia, playing the postseason again like he did with the Red Sox. So here he is. And that's just got to rejuvenate you.
Throwing nothing but strikes, and Lamb wins the battle. Never want to walk the leadoff guy. Papelbon kept pumping strikes, and a great at bat by Jake Lamb gets the tying run into the batter's box with Jared Saltalamacchia, who's 1 for 5 career against Papelbon. Jonathan struck him out looking last night. Ninth inning, a long way to go. Wellington Castillo steps out on deck. And that guy's had a good year. He homered here last night.
He's a bat tosser.
Big rip by the Arizona catcher, who's 1 for 3 with an RBI single.
Definitely not afraid to pound the strike zone with the fastball. And you'll usually see him in situations where the tying runs at the plate, throw that fastball away, make somebody beat you to the big part of the ballpark. But right now, in an 0-2 count, you're thinking he loves the split. He gets ground balls with it. He gets strikeouts with it. And I don't think Jake Lamb's going anywhere down by 2. Just let him know you're there.
Nobody out, top of the 9th, 2-run game. And a ball hit out to center. Hit pretty well. Not well enough. Taylor. It stays in the yard. Tagging and going to second. And a close play. Barely safe is Jake Lamb.
That's not a smart play. I mean, it can't be that close down by 2 runs. Your run doesn't mean anything. I mean, down by 1 run, that's a smart play. Down by 2 runs, there's no need to advance to second base. And Michael Taylor just shows off the arm. And look how close this was. Rendon peeking over his shoulder, knows he's coming. And with instant replay, if he pops off that base just a little bit, you challenge it and he's out. Not worth the gamble at all.
Wellington Castillo will be the hitter.
And Jared Salvo-Lamacchia just missed tying this ball game up.
Castillo 0 for 1 career against Papelbon. Hit a fly ball to left against him last night. Had him late. And a ball to short. Wow. Another chance taken by the runner on a ball hit in front of him. Jake Lamb feeling frisky tonight. He's at third base on the second out.
He's got the run till they tag you offense going right now. And now everybody on their feet here at Nats Park. And that's trying to hang on.
Hitter will be Nick Ahmed, the Arizona shortstop. He faces Papelbon for the first time. Nats trying to bust a 4-game losing streak and to stay a game behind the Mets. Big breaking ball against the right-hander. Three Nats trying to get back even in this series. Fastball, he's late for it. 1 ball, 2 strikes, and the Nats trying to take advantage in the season series, 3 games to 2. Escobar, he's got it, and he throws it away. It hits the tarp, and the tying run goes to second base.
That wasn't even close.
Escobar's 4th error of the year. And the plot considerably thickens here in D.C. Game should be over. The Diamondbacks have an outstanding chance here.
He just pats his glove and lets it rip, and it's not even close. Look where Ryan Zimmerman has to go, and that goes all the way down into the stands. And all of a sudden we got drama. Looked like the game was over. Tying run on second base. 5-4 ball game.
Cliff Bennington, and he goes up ribbing against Papelbon. He's 1 for 8 career against him with a run batted in.
I mean, he just got underneath that throw, and I'm trying to think of the reason. I'd like to explain why an error's made, and I think he just might have been a little excited to make the last out. Haven't seen Yunel Escobar miss like that all year.
Changeup outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Papelbon splits him in the 88.
Yeah. Just enough, too. Very subtle. That looked like a strike, went right under the bat. And here we go. You go with that split again right here. Fastball up, split down, changes eye level. And some pretty good rips at that heater.
Papelbon will be able to take care of it himself, and for some reason, he's going to tag the guy, and the game is over. Crazy 9th inning. Diamondbacks get 1 unearned run. The Nats hold on to win it 5-4. Losing streak over, but it was not easy by any means. So the Nats win their 55th game of the year. Stay a game behind the Mets. More from Nationals Park straight ahead.